Okay, market heroes, we're back. Now, as you know, strangles by themselves are undefined, right? The risk is undefined. So you can only execute these strategies in a margin account. The next video, we're going to get into what happens if you don't have a margin account, but for right now, we're going to stick to it. Now, we know that managing our winners is more profitable than worrying about our losers, right? The truth is, though, not all strangles are going to be profitable. And obviously that makes a lot of sense, right? If you do them every single day, a one standard deviation strangle. If you do it every single day, rather than being right 68% of the time, we know we're right 81% of the time. Excuse me. So within there, you know that you're going to be wrong, let's call it a fifth of the time, right? It's still an incredibly profitable strategy. And then obviously if you do it at the right time, you manage your winners, you're even more profitable. But what happens if the trade goes against you? Is there a way to reduce your losses or give yourself a better chance of hitting those profit targets? So let's take a look about it now. Again, we know what a strangle is. A one standard deviation strangle, is selling the out of the money 16 delta call and the out of the money 16 delta put at the same time. We would like those options to be out of the money when they expire, and also at the same time, if the expected move goes down, then the value of these options that we sell also go down, right? Makes sense. And you guys know all that. So again, while it's super profitable, like they don't always go the way we want it to. Trading isn't an exact science where we're going to be right 100% of the time on things, right? So what are we supposed to do when the position goes against us, right? We already know that managing our winners as opposed to managing our losers is the way to go. So can we do something to the losers that gives us a better chance of getting to a winner so we can manage it early, redeploy the capital as we just saw. Right? So what we did was we went back 2003 to present. So depending on when you're watching this, is about 14 and a half years of data. Every single day we sold the one standard deviation strangle, which again is just a bet that the expected move is going to be greater than the actual move. And the closest monthly expiration cycle in SPY to 50 days from when we're actually doing this. So this is 7,200 occurrences. So we did two things here. The first thing we did was if the call or put were tested, we did nothing. All right. So in this case, and let's look at an example, the 252 call and the 233 put. If the S&P never got to 252 or 233 in the life cycle of this trade, we didn't even count it towards this study, right? So we didn't even count it towards this study, right? So these are only the occurrences where the price of the stock got to the price of our put or call, right? So in this example, we would do nothing, but we would note the P&L and the profitability if our call or put were tested, right? So what that means is if SPY gets up to 252, we're going to add this data set and add this trade to our data set, but we're going to do nothing about it, right? As well as if it goes down to 232, we will just note it. So again, that's what our call or put being tested means. If the price of the stock gets to the strike price, that means that that option is being tested, right? So that's what we did, right? And we know doing nothing is a profitable strategy. The second thing that we did was if the call or put were tested, we rolled down either the call or put, and I'll show you how that is in a second, to the original strike price. So as an example, if SPY, which is at 246 right now, goes up to 252, that 233 put is not going to be 16 deltas. It's probably going to be a lot less. So what we want to do is we want to buy back that 233 put and then immediately sell whatever is the 16 delta put. And there are plenty of videos on this in future lessons, so don't worry about it, right? what we're doing is we're taking off the side that is more profitable and readjusting it to the original probabilities on that side. So if the 16 delta call is all of a sudden the 5 delta call, it's going to be a lot less valuable. We'll make money on it and we'll readjust. So again, the three things that we did. The first thing is if the call or put were never tested, we didn't make note of it. The second thing is if the call or put were tested, we made note of it, we just added it in there. And the third thing we did was if the call or put were tested, we made note of it and rolled up or down the call or put depending on what happened to the original delta. Those are the things we did. And we just want to see if managing the winning side, because again, if the call or put is tested, the value of that option is going to be higher because that option is now closer to the at the money strike, right? So it's another example of, hey, within the strangle, if we manage the winner, is that more profitable? Because again, we have a put and we have a call by themselves. If the call is tested, the value of that call is going to go higher, right? So we have one on the put side. So if we manage that and then redeploy that capital, kind of like we've been talking about, again, we're building off of this. If we redeploy that capital to another 16 delta put, does that get us closer to being able to manage the entire strangle as a winner? Because that's the ultimate goal. So here are the results. In the first column, again, both of these are only if the put or the call were tested, which means the price of the stock gets to the strike price of the put or the call, right? So over 14 and a half years of data, when the call and put were tested and we did absolutely nothing, this is still a profitable strategy. Again, this is like the worst case scenario ones because what's not in here is when the call or put were never tested. This is just when they are tested. You're right about 72% of the time, which is still better than 68% of the time. Remember, this is your worst case scenarios, right? Average P&L of $29 per trade, average P&L per day of $58. Pretty good. However, when the put and call were tested and you managed the winning side, you're right 84% of the time for about $68.99 per trade and an average of $1.38 per day. That's a little bit better than double the profitability. So what does this tell us? And again, there's going to be plenty of videos, webinars, webcasts, everything about this in the future. But this just goes to show you that not only managing strangles as a whole is a profitable strategy, but if one of the sides gets tested, we want to manage the other side, that's the winning side, and just put that money back in, redeploying that capital to the original probabilities. So again, if your call is tested, which means the price of the stock goes up to your call strike, you want to buy back your put and resell a put at the original probability, which is a 16 delta. From that point on, you're doing nothing. And the same is true for the other side. If the 233 put gets tested, which means the price of SPY goes down to 233, that put is going to be more valuable, so we're a loser on that side. However, that 252 call is going to be less valuable. So we want to manage that winner, buy it back, and immediately in the same expiration, we want to sell the new 16 delta call, buying back our winner, redeploying that capital. Again, not only does it work as a whole, it works when it's broken down individual strangles. So on your worst case scenarios, right? On your worst case scenarios, you're still profitable at 58 cents a day. However, you can more than double that by managing your winning side. I'll see you on the next video.